A very good evening to all our viewers. Welcome to today's edition of the Evening Review. My name is Toivon, your host. Tonight on the platform, we are joined by the governor of Otjozondjupa region, that is James Uerikua, to really just walk us into what is the status of the region and what are the challenges and how they can be addressed. Governor, a very wonderful time really to have you in studio. Thank you for making time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's indeed important that we should come and be able to engage and inform the public on regional and national development matters.
Wonderful. You are one of the youngest governors. In fact, I had made a mistake a year ago when I said you were actually the youngest, but you called me and said, no, I'm not.
Sure.
Yeah, but you are still one of the youngest, really, probably the second youngest. But how daunting is a task to be put in charge of such a great and magnificent region at this stage of your career?
Yeah, it's indeed, it was a tall order.
Yeah.
It's a task that comes with a serious responsibility that one takes seriously.
Yeah.
It is a challenge that you take, but joyously so, because through the ranks and file of the Swapo party and our systems and governance that we have been in previous positions, we have been somehow prepared to say that in terms of succession planning, you should be ready for whatever deployment that you will get.
Yeah.
And of course, you must execute that to the best of your ability. And I have really been trying my level best to do so as far as the regional governance, architecture, and execution is concerned so far.
Did you feel like you were thrown in the deep end, or has there been some sort of organic growth into that position for you to be eventually appointed?
Yeah, look, there have been some, as you're saying, organic growth. It has very much been a systematic process of imparting upon myself skills and knowledge through the experiences of various jobs that I have been doing before, the education, and of course the various ranks and file of the Swapo party where I have served before, and that have prepared me very well to ensure that whatever challenge that come your way are not really a problem but a challenge, you are able to respond to it. And in that way, it have actually propelled me to move into a state of where you have a solution-oriented mindset. That whatever that comes your way, you need to get a solution to it without being a crybaby.
And when you walked into that position, and we'll talk about the government side of things, but from a party point of view, you walked into a region that has, in recent years, been very, there's been a lot of tension within the Otjozondjupa area there. I suppose, a lot of competition among party cadres, everybody wanting to be in part of the structures. Has it made your job a bit difficult in some way?
One would say, because I have also been part and parcel of the regional political structures, I have fully appreciated the depth, the dynamics, and of course the issues around the political situation of Otjozondjupa region. As you might be aware that there are various positions that I have served before. And as a result, there was nothing new that I didn't know how to maneuver or how to navigate through. Today, when you look at the Otjozondjupa region, one would not hesitate to say we are one of the calm region as far as governance and political system is concerned, where in the previous there would be numerous strikes, numerous whatever, but as cadres of the party, we came together, ushered in new leadership in various positions, and that have calmed the water to say that the only thing that you have is unity of purpose. It is about taking the party and national interest first, and it is not about an individual interest out of that. And again, the leadership style that I portray and that I put through, it is about consultation. The moment you include everyone, the moment you consult through the length and breadth of the stakeholders, you wouldn't have challenges. People revolt, become anarchic, and have tendencies of sabotage if you do not engage, consult, and seek consensus on issues. But through good governance architecture, one of the key principles is consensus-oriented, and that's exactly what we have been doing.
Again, referring to just your relatively young age, and again, I'm talking about your age because not because people of your age and mine, I think you and I are actually the same age. It's not that we cannot lead. It has been portrayed historically that our country actually has been led by young people who are now the elder people within either the ruling party or government, but they started at perhaps even a younger age than you and me. But there's always been this feeling that there's a firewall now around elders wanting everything to be just about themselves. But here you are, you're a governor, you are quite revered within the party itself. Do you think actually that this vindication now that young people can actually lead?
Yes. What is key, what we should know is that it is not about elders ring fencing themselves. Yeah. When you look at our seniors and leaders today, the time that they decided to take up arms, the time that they decided to leave the country and go pursue and take arms and say that we are indeed going to be physically going for a confrontation. As you know, the liberation struggle of our country was fought on 3 fronts. That is the political front, the military front, and the diplomatic front. All the cadres who when they at the age of 16, age of 17, age of 18. And imagine today a child of 18 years old, what can they do? Can they really go out there to the UN or to Tanzania and all these countries and go really advocate for the agenda of the country? Of course that can be possible, but that also comes through selflessness, dedication and commitment. Equally so, the party recognize and the leaders of our country recognizes that indeed there is a biological time clock that is never controlled by any individual, but rather by the Creator and the Almighty. As a result, for any institution to remain relevant, there is a constant element of transformation. So we have been groomed and grown up through the system, through the structures. That propels and projects you to be ready for whatever task to be given. Young people, we shouldn't be much in a rush as far as taking positions of power is concerned. Because it comes with a responsibility. It is not only about positions, it's not only about the benefits. And elders are not ring fencing themselves. They are there for provision of guidance, leadership, wisdom, because that is in them. You can't take it away. And we as young people are there to be around, to learn, to be nurtured and be brought up in such a way that one day when I go, there is Toivo to take over from me. So I'm saying everything come at an opportune time, and indeed I want to thank our leaders in the various capacities and fraternities that really have liberated this country. Our second struggle now is economic struggle. And this is not about positions. It's about what do we do to liberate ourselves from the economic hardship.
And speaking of that, how do you, because I know that in your case, prior to becoming governor, you already had a career. You have academically done your part and you are now in a normal path of personal growth career-wise, which is inspiring in many ways, because a lot of people, especially in the ruling party, because of course there's opportunities that sometimes pop up out of nowhere, that people tend to neglect that path and just put all their hearts into politics, hoping they will get appointed in a way that you did. But in your case, even if you were not appointed, you still had a life. How important is it to have that balance?
That balance, when you look at, I have served in various positions in government. I was an agricultural officer. I became a Minister of Lands Development Planner, Chief Planner. You move on to the Prime Minister's office as Chief Development Planner, Senior Planner, Principal Planner, and so forth, Office of the Vice President. All these have exposed me to the understanding, experientially so, the governance architecture that allowed me to match the education that I got and with the practical implementation of now the real world. I know my lecturers at a point when we were still doing my undergraduate in agricultural science, they were talking of out there. Once we are done with you, you are going out there. So I took that knowledge, plus the out there knowledge, combined them, and these have projected me to understand when you became governor, it is about governing. So when you talk of governing, it is about implementation of the good governance architecture. And as you might be aware that at independence, we have adopted a strong architecture of good governance on which our government today stands. We have 3 organs of the state that are, each one of them is autonomous for checks and balances. So this permits us at regional level to also implement programs that are coming from central government.
Wonderful. We go for a quick break and then return for second half with Governor Uerikua.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 150.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
The conversation with Governor James Uerikua continues. Governor, before I forget, I need to place on record my gratitude when in 2021, when you, myself, and a group of other progressive people were very active in helping a child in Okahanja who had a very rare condition. But your leadership in particular, because I was approached by people who said I must put it out there, and people reacted with donations, and you led from the front. The child is very good. In fact, I sent a reporter to Okahanja just a week ago to see how the boy is doing, but he had traveled with his family during Easter. So it means that the fact that he can travel, it means that everything is fine now. But so thank you for that. Tell me the Otjozondjupa region. What would you say that has been sort of your progressive achievements in that region so far?
Yes, thank you, Toivo. And in terms of the Okahanja thing, really it was quite a touching one, because the moment you put it out there, I said this, the moment I just saw it, I took a call and called you directly and said we are getting involved.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank all those that participated and contributed, because we managed to raise up to 46,000 for the young guy. We brought in social worker from Okahanja, we brought in doctors that came to assist at the Central Hospital and so forth. And really, I want to thank all those that participated.
You got land also?
We got land also, a plot that we got from the municipality that we have allocated to the young men. Though the issue that we were really facing as a challenge is because the young guy was staying with an aunt, but the biological mother was in Oshakati. So at a point it faced some challenges where the funds the biological mother wanted to be used on her private day, and you remember she wanted to buy hair, she wanted to buy cell phones, and me and you were like, no, the money is not meant for that.
It's not for that.
It's for the young guy. So that's about accountability. So I'm thanking all those that participated in that. Yes, the achievement of the region. You know, governing is not a one-man show. It's a collective. Otjozondjupa region is divided in 7 constituencies. I have 7 constituency councillors. And on top of the councillors, one councillor is elected to become a chairperson of the council. And this is now Nama Malin Bakara, who have been my right hand in executing government programs. When you look at the Constitution of the Republic, it accords the power of myself as the political head, being the representative of the president, the ears and the eyes of the president, and direct representative of the central government. And then you have a chairperson who is now the chair of the regional council and all its affairs. So as a result, we created a strong coordinating and relationship with the regional council and the various leaders at various levels. In the beginning, already, when I took office, I initiated a program of consultation where we divided the region into clusters. Traditional authorities will come, security cluster will come, faith organizations will come, youth-based and. So through that consultation, you collect what are they expecting, then you start to work on that. Though it comes at a challenge of budget and whatever have you, but when you have good coordination through the various stakeholders, you are able to pull off a lot of things.
Yeah. So those clusters were your own initiative, just to...
It was my own initiative.
Yeah.
As you get into the region, how best do you don't just wake up and start to implement things. You need an assessment. His Excellency the President have already carried out town hall meetings. When you read from the town hall meetings and then you go back to the various clusters for further consultations, you are able to deduce from that what exactly are the key priorities that one can prioritize and focus on. And that is exactly what I have been doing. And through the support of the various structures, as I said before. When you look at it today, we manage, there was a situation where, for example, at a traditional authority level, one of my responsibilities to mediate. There was a strong disagreement in the Kambadimbi Traditional Authority. For 7 good years, they were never seeing eye to eye. There were cases at the courts and whatever. Just when I took office, I made an appointment and said, Chief, I want to get involved. And then I consulted the various, this group, the complainant, and they responded. And myself, I said to the chief, you are the leader. You need to be neutral. And as a result, come with me. You will operate with me. The two groups will bring them together, we reconcile. And it took us just a weekend. And we ended that. Then that's one of the key success, because it's about mediating. It's about really calming down the temper of the community in Otjozondjupa region that really depends and highly are guided by the traditional authorities. You come to issues of inclusivity, whereby you take issues such as women in agriculture, youth in agriculture as key priorities. Today, we have now looked into the issue of providing poultry, chicks and whatever through to various constituencies through the councillors' offices. When you look at the roads infrastructure, there are a number of roads today when you go to areas such as Gam, a settlement that it have already been declared since 2008. So we manage at least through the roads authority now to get what you call a high standard low volume seal of up to 5 kilometer, extended it now to 10 kilometer. And the aim in the end is to get a road tarred or upgraded to bitumen standard all the way from Grootfontein to Gam. That's 400 kilometers. And roads authority is actually now busy with this activity. Other roads infrastructure include things such as now the graveling of the road between Okakarara and Koblenz. When you look at the road that comes from Oneuptwo, when you're going to Grootfontein, there is that cave, and there's a small bumpy area there. A lot of people would ask, why are you not getting this right? But it is because that road is on top of a fountain. There is constant water that runs there. So it's an architectural design issue. Through our constant push, we manage now to get a contractor who will be starting. There was no roads board in the region. And of course, when I took office through consultation with the Ministry of Works and the Minister accordingly, we put in place the roads board. We have a lot of issues, as you know, that there were lately cases at the Cheetah Cement where workers went on strike, and 2 months they were on strike. So we had to come in as leaders silently. So behind the scenes, you bring in the management of the mine, you talk to the representative of the workers, they agree, the contract is drafted on conditions, but they want to be having. You consider the reality, you match this, and it comes down. Housing delivery. As you know, when we took office, we exactly went into Okahanja where there was a serious request for land. And immediately, upon consulting the Minister of Urban and Rural, and I want to thank him, Comrade Erastus Utoni, I had a meeting on the 22nd of July in 2020, whereby we brought the whole community at New Ape Stadium in Okahanja. And that is to say that we want to respond to the issue of land delivery. And remember, when I took office, there was a moratorium on land, where for 5 years Okahanja couldn't be trading in any land. And as a result, through consultation with the minister who's understanding, we managed to get what you call to now decommission the moratorium on land. And of course, now we started the process of land delivery. Out of that process, we now came up with what you call Ekunde number 5. Out of Ekunde number 5, within 3 weeks, it was totally barren land, not service, nothing. Requested the minister, he came on board with his team and the technical staff of the municipality of Okahanja. We managed within 3 weeks to come up with 294 ervens. That is Ekunde number 5. And adjacent to that, on the western part, is then we establish a new area which is Ekunde number 4, a total of 275 errands as well. Those are all works that we have done. When you go to the land that we have given in the time that I took office, we launched what you call the Accelerated Land Delivery Program. 2,087 errands were given already within 2020 and 2021. And our work with 2021 and 2022 went a bit down because of the COVID regulations and all these things. Look at how we responded to COVID. Because of the collective effort of everybody else, COVID befell upon us, really not prepared, and that is globally. But of course, through a good determination and program from the central government under the Minister of Health, and of course the readiness of ourselves at regional level to coordinate, we got serious support and we could be able to really go through it. Though we lost a lot of lives, we also saved a lot of lives.
Wonderful. The situation around the San people, there's always constant concerns about their plight, and you have a lot of them within your region itself. What is being done to uplift that community?
The San community in Otjozondjupa region, the government through the Office of the Marginalized Community in the Office of the Vice President, and now it is standing directly under the Minister of Gender Equality, led by the Deputy Minister, Comrade Youthful Otjozondjupa, as the Deputy Minister responsible, have implemented a number of projects. Number one, there is what you call education support program. Now the education support program looks at nothing else but what support can we give to a son, girl and boy for them to be able to go to school, get enrolled, go through school and eventually graduate at the end, which is a difficult process because you need to convince a person who was never in school, whose parents are reluctant in terms of going to school. So you bring in incentivizing programs whereby things such as monthly allowances was introduced to the son learners. They would get $350 per month for toiletry purposes and so forth. Though there was a small element, and it is still there, where parents somehow would be waiting for learners. When they get this money, then they will grab it and use it for other purposes. And of course, the ministry responded accordingly. Feeding program in the marginalized communities. Whether it rains or it doesn't rain, when you look at the needs of the marginalized community, they are forever there. And as a result, you need your constant feeding program to provide for the deficiency that you get as far as nutritional balances are concerned, that is emanating from the lack of food. So a feeding program was introduced where 3 bags of maize meal plus 5 tins of fish, 5 tins of beans could be given. But now these have transformed as we are talking now, equally so with a food bank program that is now converted into what you call vouchers, where every month an amount of money is given to every marginalized community person for them to be able to use this money for buying whatever needs that they have. You go into a program of resettlement, whereby it is about land redistribution and reallocation to the formerly marginalized communities, where farms such as Farm 8 comes in the Matako constituency, the community that you find at this farm were living in swimming pools in Okahanja. Some of them were actually, when a farm owner tend to sell their farm, they just leave them in the corridors. As a result, government came back in 2007, mobilized this community, and then bought a farm called Farm 8 Coms. By then, under the able leadership of Comrade Dr. Libertine Amadela, as a Deputy Prime Minister, who was charged with that responsibility. The farm, with a good capacity of 7,514 hectares, accommodates around plus minus 187 families. That translates into 3,000 plus people. Today they are there, a school is established at that facility. There is a clinic. Signals in terms of network towers are put up. Police stations are there to guard against alcohol and drug abuse. But there are serious challenges also coming from a farm like that, where influx of people came in, overgrazing, and drug and alcohol abuse have become the order of the day, disagreement among the community. So as a result, we are going back to correct some of these things. We also established a place like Onderaya Hora in Gam area, where the San community around there were living in makeshift structures. And then we said, no, but people cannot live like this. So as a result, we requested land through the traditional authority. A place called Onderaya Hora was given 16 kilometers south of Gam. Reticulated water through the NGSIP program, Namibian German Special Initiative Program, for a total of around 2.7 million. 2 boreholes were drilled with 24 cubic and 27 cubic. You bring them in one pipeline, pipe it for 16 kilometers. 93 cattle were given to that community, and today a total of around 12 houses, makeshift structure houses, were built, A 5-hectare garden was established, cleared and ready. So this program is designed in such a way that the people shouldn't be dependent on handouts from government, but rather give them livestock, which is the key economic driver around, put a garden that they be able to work in the garden and produce for themselves and for commercial purposes.
Absolutely.
So putting learners in hostels is a key priority, that the Ministry of Education always prioritizes the allocation of learners in schools to those that are actually destitute and staying far. Ministry of Education, the Department of Education also come up with a program through the Marginalized Community Department of transporting learners during out weekends, school holidays, and all these things. So when you talk of the marginalized community, really, a lot have been done, but I'm telling you that we still need to improve. We lost the development planner who was responsible for that office, Comrade Theodore Shiriange. May his soul rest in peace. We lost him back in 2021, untimely so. And as a result, up to now, the office haven't yet filtered anybody in that position. But we were informed that they are hard at work to try and see how best they can really look into the situation.
Absolutely. In 30 seconds, Governor, if you can, we have run out of time. Amid all these interventions from the state in the lives of the San in particular and other marginalized communities, but the San in particular, do we see progress in their lives or on their own now? Because of course government has carried them, obviously, and we understand the reason, but do we see signs of a community that is going to start sustaining itself and live a life like the rest of us?
You know, the government of the Republic of Namibia is a signatory to the United Nations declaration on the rights of indigenous people, UN trip of 2008. And equally so, we have ratified Convention 111, sorry. And all these are actually international instruments that are paving way for a government to actually be implementing certain programs that are targeting the upliftment of those very communities. And on top of that, government took a deliberate action to create a department. First of all, it was a division, now elevated to a department level within government that is charged with nothing else but one mandate. That is the socio-economic integration of the marginalized community into the socio-economic mainstream of our society. So when you look at the effort, those that are educated through this program, how many learners, how many graduates, indeed serious success stories can be told. These graduates have become radio presenters. They are PA to ministers, PA to deputy ministers. Comrade Roy Akwikoko himself is a deputy minister responsible and heading that office directly because he hails from the community and understands it better. For inclusivity purposes, every Namibian indeed must be part and parcel of the Namibian development agenda.
Absolutely.
Conservancies in Chumukwe area and all these are being governed by the San community themselves. Schools around, people are being trained in Kwekwe and all this in Jungwasi to come back into the community and plow back. So there are a lot of success stories. Of course, they do not come without challenges. But I think really government is on the right path. It's a matter of coordination and us working together to evolve.
Absolutely. Governor, it's a pleasure having you on the platform. Thank you for making time.
Thank you very much, my
Next
brother.
time we will do the interview in your office in
Please,
Asharongo.
you're welcome.
Please,
you're welcome.
That was Governor of Otjozondjupa, James Uerikua, bringing us up to speed with what is happening in this region. Thank you for watching.